spans from the 110 all the way to the 710, from like the 105 basically all the way to San Pedro, which is a pretty large district. And I covered for her Compton, Watts, Willowbrook, and Carson, and some of the unincorporated areas of her district. So if you guys have any questions or concerns related to those issues, please let me know. So again, I'm her policy assistant, so I don't focus on a lot of casework and local issues. If you have like an issue on the federal level, I can definitely assist you with that or direct you to the office that you're supposed to speak with. But I did want to come today and share some words on behalf of the Congresswoman. Is that okay? Okay. Thank you. So, the centuries-long enslavement of nearly 4 million Africans and their descendants in the United States is a cruel, brutal, and inhumane reality. Since the abolition of slavery in 1863, African Americans suffered an additional 100 years of immoral methods of discrimination at the hands of federal, state, and local governments, followed by decades more of economic, political, and educational suppression. Such practices were evident during the Jim Crow era, when African Americans became further disenfranchised due to unfair voting and hiring practices. Polarizing methods like redlining, the discriminatory practice of systematic denial of services and loans, starved African American communities nationwide of fundamental investment. Many of these communities continue to illustrate long-lasting effects of racial segregation, which include lower life expectancy. 30 years ago, H.R. 40, which we're here about today, the Commission to Study and Develop Reparation Proposals for African Americans Act was first introduced during the 101st session of Congress and has been reintroduced every session that followed, which is 15 additional sessions, which is ridiculous for it to have been introduced 30 years ago and there's been no movement on it. So hopefully we start to see some movement. I am proud to co-sponsor this on behalf of my boss, the Congresswoman. I am proud to co-sponsor this bill as it seeks to form a commission to study and consider a national apology and proposal for reparations for the institution of slavery and the emanating discriminatory practices. The serious devastation that slavery has had on African Americans and its resulting economic profit has never been officially recognized or addressed by the United States government. I believe that this bill, again, this is my Congresswoman, our Congresswoman speaking, I believe that this bill and the implementation of a commission is certainly a step in the right direction as we seek true equity and unity in our nation. Thank you. So again, I do have to run. It's my mom's birthday and she's the reason why I'm here today. So I have to run, but I'll leave some cards here and I hope to hear from you all soon. Thank you.
This fight is a fight so long overdue. So long overdue. Each of us are related because of the color of our skin. You are my sister and my brother. No matter what we think or say, that is how we are judged. We're going to hopefully be able to share some interesting thoughts, ideas, revelations that Mr. Esters through NEAJA has allowed us to explore and assess. When I think about our children, and we say to them, you can go to school and be whatever you want to be, when we know that is not true. We give them the best we can give them in a world and a nation that will always judge them by the color of their skin, no matter what. Even at our best. I have friends in very high places that are African American that says they never have enough money, never have enough education reality. And so today we're going to be very candid with you about how we see the future for us. Because when I worked for Congressman Donnelly and we got reparations for the Japanese, there's one thing that stood out in my mind was one of the older ones who had been in the internment camp. And he said, we want reparations because we don't want America doing to us what they've done to you. You are lynched anytime. You are shot anytime. You are disrespected anytime. You're denied every time. We want civil liberties that will protect our children for generations to come. And I thought about that every year after he told me that. I said, he's right. How many times do we see on the news that a Japanese child has been shot in the back? Yeah. They stopped that real quick because they saw and used us as the barometer of justice and injustice in this country. This is a nation founded on us. If it wasn't for us, there'd be no nation. Not no United States of a nation. We are always going to be the target. We're going to always be that, because that's how the nation was founded. It wasn't founded for equality. Came a little bit later, they tried to band-aid it up. But if they really meant it, we wouldn't be where we are today. So we're going to go now, and I just want to do a few introductions for us, if you don't mind. So you've met Mr. Esters, who's the CEO of NEAJA and the founder. Can we give him a hand? Mr. Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan, would you raise your hand? And we're going to go, let me introduce you to the people that worked with me on bringing this here today. And we call him Drew. Drew is the person who's done the video for today, who pulled the young people together and shared with us their thoughts, their vision, their views. Drew, we love you and we thank you. Miss Beatrice is not here yet, but we have Mr. Fred Ephraim, who is my shoulder, my ankle, my arm. He is the writer, has been in many movies, many different versions of Hollywood, and is the writer for The City of Reparations, which will become a TV series soon. Can we get lovely wife, who's also, he's the musician and the writer of all the music for the City of Reparations, Mr. McQueen. This is Hollywood at its best, writing what it's going to look like for a City of Reparations. So we're proud of that. So before we get started, Drew, oh, I'm sorry, we're going to go around the room. I want everyone to introduce yourself, starting with you. Speak loud so everyone can hear you. Be quick.
My name is Chris Williams. I'm from the Empire Attorney Compton. Academy with vets and veterans. And we have veterans that some of PTSD from veterans that have serving. Think about the post-traumatic stress disorder that they have in this country.
Thank you.
in the segregated South of Florida. And I've always been interested in politics.
You, sweetheart. NEAJA. Speak loudly, please. Speak loudly.
My name is E.G. Hester, and I'm a member of NEAJA.
I'm Bruce Boyden. I have many titles, but currently just reappointed as the Education Commissioner for the State of California Assembly District.
Okay. Bruce, to you.
Yes.
To you.
My name is Beth Housing. I came up interested in Revelations as well, being a child of the segregated South in New Orleans, Louisiana. So I wanted to get a small talk.
You don't need a degree to work in the music business. I said, well then, why are you hiring me? He says, because I want you to start from the ground up. Once I get through with you, you will have a dream and a direction. And then I was really on my way. So I'm so glad that I didn't object to it. I just never grew up with parents who believed in entertainment. My parents were probably like many of yours. They believed only in two things: praising God and getting an education. So when I was so excited and I called home to tell my mom, Mom, I got a job. She says, oh, that's so wonderful, praise the Lord. I stopped right there. I didn't go any further and tell her anything else. She asked me, what will you be doing? And I told her, I'll be working for Mr. Barry Gordy. She said, doing what? I said, I'm going to be answering the phone. She said, and doing what? Just trying to not say that word, entertainment, music business, film and television, TV commercials. And when I finally told her, she says, I should have known. You've always had that spirit in your heart to help people. I said, Mom, and we need a lot of help in this industry, a lot of help. She says, well, I'm not excited for you. Let's see what you do from here. And before I hang the phone up, and she hung up, she says, remember, there is only one rock, and that is truly the foundation. Where you keep the love of Jesus in your heart. And of course, I hung up the phone. I was very sad because she was not enthusiastic, neither was she excited for me. And I understood that because she knew nothing about it. So she couldn't be excited for me. But I journeyed on through the hardship and grew up. That's exactly what happened to me. And then I realized what I had heard as a child was everything that my granny had told me, and which was everything that her granny had told her. There is going to come a time when we will get 40 acres and a mule. And that time is getting closer than you know. And I believe the time is now. So I want us to take a minute. Let's give Pat a round of applause. Mr. Estes, Lord Estes, and Mrs. Estes, and all of you, because you're going to help me make the dream come true. It's your dream as well as mine. We're not in this alone. I do believe in the principles of seek and you shall find, and knock and the door shall be open. When did we stop knocking? I heard the other day that somebody said in a meeting, reparations? Come on, Beatrice. We've been fighting that battle for some time. We need a new form of weaponry. We have to put on the whole armor. We need a change. And that change has come. Someone said to me, who is a member of my team, and I will have great joy in introducing and describing my team to you. Someone said to me, well, what happened to the dream that Martin Luther King had? Is the dream dead? Is it still alive? I said, it's very much alive. No, I don't think so. I said, I don't know whose eyes you're looking at, but if you go downtown on San Pedro, you will see that the dream is very much alive. We do not have equal wealth distribution in this country. We just don't have it. And that's really the fight. The wealth. Think about the trillions of dollars. And I heard on this piece that I just saw, that we all saw, that it was 1 billion. The last calculation was $4 trillion. $4 trillion. That's far more than $1 billion. And when I went down on San Pedro and looked at the image called homelessness, I couldn't believe it. It was not only sore to the eye, and I went there for another purpose. I went there for the Union Rescue Mission. The owner had invited me to come and speak, and it was during the night that a member of my church from West Angeles, Church of God in Christ, Bishop Charles E. Blake, he has a team of people down there, and they were looking for a speaker that night. So I took someone else's place because they couldn't make it, and I went there. And I went there early enough so that I could see the place. He gave me a tour of the facilities. He told me how the beds are issued out. Certain people have to arrive at a certain time, and if they miss that particular time, there's no bed for them. And then they remain outdoors. I couldn't believe it. And it was also quoted that when we were Negroes, we owned land and property. And on Greenwood Book Avenue in Tulsa, Oklahoma, there were great individuals who had great wealth, and they were Black and African Americans and Indians, and they had great wealth. But unfortunately, all of that was destroyed. And it is quoted, when we were Negroes, we had land, property, hotels, buildings, loan and savings and loan companies. We were prosperous. And the moment we became African Americans, we became homeless. When we became Black, we became without everything. Why is this? Because we stopped knocking on that door. Knock, and the door shall be open. Now, I'm in the film and television business, so something like this, I summed it up very quickly after a presentation was made to me. I only know how to do something very valuable, and that is, let's create a television show. Everyone who watches television, who watches film, go to the movies. You call it movies. It's really the film business. You are being indoctrinated with an image. So whether it's true or false, when we watch television, we believe it. You believe what you see on television. So if this is the case, well then let's put reparations on television. What if? What if? How are we going to act when we have it? So after they made the presentation, I just told them before they left, hey, here's the deal. It has to be in a television series. So now we have put together a television series, and I won't be up here very long. I thank you for taking the time to come and become a part of a wonderful movement that does not require millions of people. It only requires you, those of us in this room, on behalf of the city of Compton and Los Angeles. And I work in an area called Beverly Hills. So that's pretty much still under the umbrella of Los Angeles. It only requires all of us in this room, just the effort that you have made. Now, I know that I have a wonderful team of people who have done some fantastic things. I just called them up, made the presentation to them, and they got busy. This is what has to happen. We need people who are willing to get busy from the beginning. Don't ask me about a lot of money. I'll show you the money. Show me the product. I want to introduce an incredible man who was up here speaking when I got here, Mr. Fred Ephraim, our writer, published author, has books available, many books available for sale, phenomenal director, great stage theater actor, went to the greatest universities, very talented, very intelligent in every way. I called him, told him what I wanted, what I needed. Now, he had already written 5 different successful projects. So how would he have time for me? He says, that's a wonderful idea. I said, you gonna do it? You have time for it? He says, no, I don't have any time, but I'm gonna make time, because this is long overdue. So let's give him a round of applause. And then I went further and figured out, okay, got a writer who can write it in a heartbeat. I mean, he wrote the script. It was less than 30 days, much less than 30 days. We evaluated it, re-edited it, had a rewrite on it, reviewed it several times, and then it was ready to go to the studios. Then I said, okay, now I'm going to need something that I know much about. I need some music to set the scene. Music is very valuable. It creates an atmosphere. It makes things come together. It's sort of the unspoken glue that keeps everything tightened together. I called on the best. By working with Barry Gordy, you get to know who the best is. And in most cases, the best, they are very, very hard to find, because they're not out there waving a flag. They're not on your face. They're not trying to get recognition. They already have it. And they're enjoying their wealth, their riches, and enjoying their very valuable time with their families. So after searching